시작하세요.
안녕하십니까?
Good morning, everyone.
오늘 말씀드릴 내용은 하나님의 혈통과 3대 왕권을 말살한 어머님.
Today, I'd like to talk to you about how Mother eliminated God's lineage and the three-generation kingships.
하나님의 재창조 섭리의 핵심은 무엇입니까?
What is the core of God's providence of recreation?
하나님의 혈통의 안착입니다.
That core is to bring settlement to God's lineage on the earth.
재림주가 이 땅에 강림하시는 가장 핵심적인 것이 하나님의 혈통을 이 땅에 착지시켜 하나님의 혈통을 계승하는 것입니다.
The most important aspect of the returning Lord's coming to the earth is to bring God's lineage to the earth so that lineage can settle on the earth.
에덴 동산에서 해와는 천사장의 혈통을 받아들여 하나님의 수녀를 더럽히고 그 결과물로 가인 아벨 자녀를 낳아 악한 혈통을 번성케 하여 오늘날 타락한 세계를 만들었습니다.
In the Garden of Eden, Eve received the lineage of the archangel. She sullied, she dirtied the pure lineage of God. She gave birth to children as a result of that, and has caused all humanity to be in that archangel's dirty lineage.
이러한 혈통을 바로잡기 위해 수많은 여인들이 혈통 복귀를 위한 탕감의 길을 갔던 것을 알고 있는 바입니다.
And we know that many women have had to go the way of restoration through indemnity in order to restore God's lineage back to this earth.
이는 바로 해와가 더럽힌 혈통을 바로잡기 위해 해와가 하나님을 속이고 아담을 속이고 자식까지 속였던 것을 탕감하기 위한 하늘의 피눈물 나는 탕감의 노정이었던 것입니다.
This was a path of tears for heaven. It was a path of indemnity that had to be traveled by many, many women because Eve deceived God, she deceived her husband, and she deceived her children.
인륜으로서는 도저히 납득할 수 없는 음녀의 길을 갔던 것입니다.
So women had to go this way of illicit love, women of illicit or prostitutes because of the course of indemnity.
여기에는 대표적 사음녀가 있습니다.
There are four women who are particularly recognized in this respect.
우리아의 아내 바세바와 기생 나합과 다말과 룻입니다.
These are the Bathsheba and the Rahab and Tamar. 마지막은 누구였던가요? 네 번째가 누구였어요?
네 번째는
마지막.
Ruth
were the four women who are particularly recognized in the Bible in this respect.
대표적 사음녀가 바로 혈통 복귀의 중심에 있었던 것입니다.
These four women were at the center of this course to restore God's lineage.
그러한 기대 위에 예수님이 처음으로 원죄 없는 순혈로 이 땅에 착지하신 것입니다.
And it was on the foundation of the indemnity paid by these four women and others, but especially these four women, that Jesus was able to come to the earth with a blood lineage that was pure.
그래서 예수님은 떡과 포도주를 주시면서 이는 내 살이요 내 피라고 하셨습니다.
And so Jesus gave the bread and the wine to his disciples, saying that this is my flesh and this is my blood.
당신처럼 원죄 없는 하나님의 순회를 이어받기를 간절히 바라신 예수님의 절규였습니다.
This was Jesus' urgent and desperate cry, his desperate desire to have his disciples and others inherit also the pure blood lineage of God.
하지만 원리를 통해 잘 아시는 바와 같이 당신은 당신 자신이 혈통을 나누어 주실 수 있는 기대, 즉 축복을 이루지 못하여 당신의 순혈을 타락한 인간에게 전수하지 못하고 십자가에 가시고 말았습니다.
But as we have learned through the divine principle, Jesus was not able to marry. He was not able to have a holy blessing. And that was necessary for him to actually be able to give the physical blood lineage to the fallen people of this earth. And so he was not able to do that before he was killed on the cross.
당신의 궁극적인 목적은 혈통 복귀였지만 결국 유대 민족의 불신으로 그 뜻을 이루지 못하고 재림을 약속하실 수밖에 없었던 것입니다.
Jesus' ultimate purpose on this earth was to restore God's lineage that had been lost in the Garden of Eden. But because of the unfaithfulness of the Jewish people, he was not able to do that, and he had to leave this earth, leaving a promise behind that he would return again someday.
예수님이 재림하실 수 있도록 하기 위해 2000년 동안 얼마나 많은 탕감의 피를 흘렸습니까?
An incredible amount of indemnity and blood has been shed over the past 2,000 years so that Jesus would be able to return.
그러한 희생의 탕감 위에 참 아버님이 오셨습니다.
And it was on the foundation of this indemnity and sacrifice that true Father was able to come.
온 누리가 환대하고 영접하여 그분을 모시어 받들었더라면은 그분을 통하여 하나님의 자녀로 거듭날 수 있었습니다.
All humanity should have welcomed Father's coming. And if that had happened, then all humanity would have been able to be reborn through him into God's sons and daughters.
그런데 준비된 자들은 다 외면하고 오히려 2000년 전 했던 그 버릇 그대로 외면하고 불신하고 핍박하며 감옥으로 죽음의 길로 내몰았습니다.
But what happened, though, was similar to what happened 2,000 years ago. The people who had been prepared by God to receive Father did not receive him, rejected him. And he had to finally go the way of suffering through prison.
사탄은 하나님 다음으로 원리를 잘 아는 존재이기 때문에 전 인류를 내어주더라도 메시아 한 분을 살해하는 것을 목표로 역사했습니다.
Satan knows the divine principle better than anyone other than God. And so because he knows that, he was willing even to forfeit all of humanity if only he could kill the Messiah.
그 핵심은 하나님의 혈통을 품은 메시아를 살해하는 것이고 하나님의 혈통을 말살하는 것이었습니다.
Satan's ultimate goal was to eliminate God's lineage from this earth. And so in order to do that, he wanted most of all to kill the Messiah.
그래서 에덴 동산에서 했던 그 모습 그대로 천정궁에서 음모를 꾸몄던 것입니다.
And so, just as he did 2,000 years ago, Satan entered into the Cheonjeonggung Palace in Cheongpyeong and conspired there to kill the Messiah.
하늘을 속이고 아담을 속이고 아들을 속이는 6,000년 전 해와의 그 행위 그대로를 재현하고 있는 것입니다.
And so he made it so that the same thing would happen in Cheonjeonggung as happened in the Garden of Eden, where the husband would be deceived, God would be deceived, the husband would be deceived, and the sons would be deceived.
하나님도 속이고 아버님도 속이고 대신자 상속자인 아들도 속이고 정오 정착을 통해 하나님이 수직으로 임하셔야 할 그 신성한 궁전에서 사탄이 수직으로 역사할 수 있는 조건을 제시하고 말았던 것입니다.
So he arranged so that God would be deceived in the Cheonjeonggung palace, the husband, father, true father, as the husband would be deceived, and that even the son, who was father's representative body and inheritor, would be deceived. And in the Cheonjeonggung palace was a place more than any other where there should be a noontime sun, where there should be no shadow. But Satan, however, made it so that this kind of deception would take place there.
천정궁이 어떤 곳입니까? 아버님, 형제님, 신주님 이렇게 3대 왕권을 수립하여 다 이루었다고 선포한 곳입니다.
Think of what the Cheonjeonggung Palace is. This was where True Father and Hyungjinim and Shinjun were living. Three generations of kings were living there in that place.
하나님의 창조 이상은 사위 기대를 이루어 영원히 안식하실 곳입니다.
And it was in Cheonjeong Palace that the father said that everything had been accomplished. This was the place where the four-position foundation would be established.
그런데 이제 천정궁에는 1대 왕도, 2대 왕도, 3대 왕도 그 어느 왕도 안 계십니다.
But now, today in the Cheonjeong Palace, the first generation king is not there, the second generation king is not there, the third generation king is not there. There is no king in the Cheonjeong Palace today.
오직 정다도 없는 여인이 왕관을 쓰고 무정자의 성주로 구원을 하겠다고 합니다.
There is only a woman there sitting, wearing a crown. She is a woman without a seed, but she is saying that even without a seed, she will save all of humanity.
아버님의 상속자 대신자이신 형제님과 신주님을 쫓아내어 3대 왕권을 파괴하고 왕권을 찬탈하여 하나님 흉내를 내고 있습니다.
She kicked out the second king, the third king. She kicked out the three-generation kingships. She usurped the kingship for herself and is now pretending to be God.
더 나아가 아버님의 유업을 폐기하고 그 흔적을 지우기에 안간 힘을 쓰고 있습니다.
Not only that, but she is doing everything she can to destroy Father's legacy and work.
천일국 헌법을 고쳐 아버님의 후계자는 아버님의 혈통이 아니더라도 법통으로 이어져 가겠다고 합니다.
She has changed Father's constitution, saying that it is not necessary for the successor to be in Father's lineage, that this will be a rule by law rather than a rule by blood lineage.
선거로 아버님의 후계자를 선택하겠답니다.
She says that the Father's successor will be chosen by election.
아예 이젠 아버님의 혈통까지 부정해 버렸습니다.
She has even now denied Father's lineage.
아버님은 타락한 혈통으로 태어났고 원죄 없는 순혈이신 독생녀 어머님과 성혼을 했기 때문에 축복을 하실 수 있었다고 궤변을 늘어 놓으십니다.
She is saying ridiculous things, such as that Father was born with original sin, And it was only because he was married with a mother who had no original sin that he was able to begin performing the blessings.
6천년 전 에덴 동산에서 아담 해와를 낳았듯이 복지 섭리도 바로 원죄 없는 독생녀로 온 당신이 이 땅에 오셔서 하나님의 자녀를 낳으셔야 한답니다.
She says that just as God created Adam and also Eve in the Garden of Eden, so she also had to be created as the only begotten daughter, so that sinless children could be born.
2000년 전 예수님의 어머니 마리아가 하나님의 아들 예수님을 낳았듯이 당신이 곧 아버님을 낳은 것과 같이 아버님을 메시아로 완전케 했다고 합니다.
She says that just as Mary gave birth to a sinless son, Jesus, so also it was because she had no original sin that she was able to give birth to Father as the Messiah.
이제는 당신이 독생녀 메시아로서 섭리의 중심에 서서 아버님의 전통과 혈통을 막살하고 있습니다.
She says that as the only begotten daughter, she now stands in the center of the providence, and she is eliminating God's lineage and tradition.
오늘날까지 천주교에서는 마리아가 곧 하나님이 실체를 쓰고 이 땅에 오셔서 하나님의 독생자 예수님을 낳으셨다는 그 믿음 그대로 그대로를 재현하고 있습니다.
She is doing something that the Catholic Church has been doing, and that is the Catholic Church has been saying that Mary was on this earth as God's substantial being, and so she gave birth to the Son of God, and so she is going exactly that same path as the Catholic Church.
그래서 여태껏 천주교에서는 성모 마리아라고 하며 그녀가 곧 육신을 쓰고 이 땅에 오셨던 하나님이라고 신앙하고 있지 않습니까?
We see that Catholic Church refers to Mary as the Holy Mother Mary, and considers her to be God's substantial body on the earth.
그들이 바로 법통을 세워 교황을 선거로 선출해서 대를 이어가고 있습니다.
And also the Catholic Church determines the Pope by election in the same way, that is a rule of law, not a rule of lineage.
법통을 세워 섭리를 이어가려면 천주교로도 충분합니다.
So that Family Federation is becoming just like that, an organization that will continue on not by lineage but by law.
재림주님이 다시 오셔서 혈통을 세우실 필요가 없습니다. 혈통을 통한 3대 왕권을 세우실 필요가 없는 것입니다.
They say that there is no need for the Messiah to come and establish God's lineage on earth, that it is only the law that will govern.
이젠 정자도 없는 따님들을 내세워 참 자녀를 세워 섭리한다는 흉내를 내고 있습니다.
She is putting forward her daughters who also have no seed and is pretending to carry on the providence.
무지하고 불쌍한 식구들은 정자 없는 성주를 마시고 하나님의 자녀로 거듭났다고 착각하고 있습니다.
Unfortunately, ignorant, innocent members are receiving the holy wine, which is devoid of any seed, and are fooled into thinking that they have been given rebirth through that holy wine.
가정맹세를 파괴해놓고 가정맹세를 외우고 있는 철저히 외식하는 신앙자들로 만들어 버렸습니다.
She has turned members into false believers who recite the destroyed family pledge, but they think that they are believing, but they are not.
3대 왕권이 없는 천정국은 더 이상 하나님의 궁전이 아닙니다.
Cheonjeongung Palace, in the absence of the three generation kingships, is no longer the palace of God.
3대 왕이 계신 곳이 바로 진정한 궁전입니다.
The true palace is the place where the three generations kings are present.
3대 왕이 어디 계십니까?
So where are the three generations of kings?
생추리입니다.
They are in the sanctuary church.
이젠 천일궁에 입궁하셨습니다.
And now they have entered into the Cheonjeongung Palace.
천일궁을 통하여 천정궁을 되찾으셨습니다.
Through the Cheonjeongung Palace, they have restored the Cheonjeongung Palace.
일찍이 형제님은 선포하셨습니다. 생추리는 하나님의 왕궁이라고, 하나님의 정자가 있고 하나님의 혈통이 있고 아버님의 성령이 함께하는 곳이라고요.
Hyungjinim declared at an early stage that the sanctuary church is where you find God's seed, God's lineage, and that is where you find God's kingship.
그리고 복귀된 가인 아벨도 있는
It
곳입니다.
is also the place where you find the restored Cain and Abel.
복귀된 가인 국진님이 형제님께 경배드렸습니다.
Restored Cain, Kukjinim, bowed down before his brother Hyungjinim as the Abel.
복귀된 혈통의 자랑스러운 모습이었습니다.
This was a wonderful sight to see this restoration.
그리고 아버님의 성령이 3대 왕권과 함께함을 확실히 보여주었습니다.
This was also a clear demonstration to us that God's Father's Holy Spirit is with the three generation kings.
그리고 트럼프를 대통령으로 만들었습니다.
Also, they made Trump to become the president of the United States.
아버님의 성령이 3대 왕권을 통해 이 세상 죄악 세계를 심판하기 시작하였습니다.
True Father's Holy Spirit has now begun to give judgment to this world.
6,000년 차디찬 서러움의 눈물을 흘리시던 하나님이 뜨거운 기쁨의 눈물을 흘리십니다.
God has been shedding tears of sorrow for 6,000 years, but today He is shedding tears of joy.
천정궁에서 내쫓겼던 아버님이 천일궁에 입궁하여 안착하셨습니다.
Even though True Father was kicked out of the Cheonjeongung Palace, He has now entered into the Cheonjeongung Palace.
그 뜨거운 눈물이 보이십니까?
Can you see God's tears of joy?
심정의 우저갱에서 신음의 눈물을 흘리시던 하나님이 덩실덩실 춤추시며 싱글벙글 웃으시며 감사의 눈물을 흘리십니다.
God, for so long, his heart was broken and he was shedding tears of terrible sorrow. But now he is dancing with joy and he is shedding tears only of joy.
우리도 같이 3대 왕권을 중심축으로 세워 감사의 눈물을 흘려야 하지 않겠습니까?
So shouldn't we also establish the three generation kingships as the axis in our lives, the center of our lives, and also join God in shedding tears of joy and tears of gratitude?
3대 왕권 억만세, 3대 왕권 억만세. 아버님의 성령이 함께하는 3대 왕권 억만세. 3대 왕권은 영원하리라.
Ongmanse to the three generation kingships. Ongmanse to the three generation kingships. Ongmanse to the three generation kingships. And may this kingship last forever and ever.
감사합니다.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be right back after this short break.
Won't you look around? These are the lives that the world has forgotten, waiting for doors of our hearts and our homes to open. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of days, then there will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungja Sean Moon, the second king of Chaniguk. And let's go now to the top news. Before we go to the top news, I want to go to a very important broadcast that was done on InfoWars with former top Navy SEAL Craig Sawyer, revealing to the world that he has received from high intel level sources inside the Navy SEALs, Delta Force, Army Rangers, CIA, MI6, ASIS, German intelligence, and more on the war against the pedophile networks. Let's go to Craig Sawyer and InfoWars.
Again, I already knew who Craig Sawyer was, and then, of course, I have some friends that worked as contractors in other clandestine areas, obviously with the CIA and things overseas, and they said, no, Craig's a really great guy. He knows exactly what's going on, and also he's a listener of yours. And, of course, he told the story last time he was on about the CIA guy years ago in country in a secret operation saying, you want to know what's going on here? Listen to this, which I'm always honored to hear, and I've been told that story quite a few times by a lot of folks. But that's just because we have all these guys on over the years. And people, I mean, I remember you used to have the chairman.
We're going to skip to the...
Again, I haven't talked to the Sawman since I waved bye to him when I walked out of a steakhouse a few weeks ago here in Austin after he did a great job on the show, tacticalinsider.com. But he's a polite guy, so he'll pause a lot. So just take over, tell folks about your idea. I know other people are launching similar ideas, already have. I know special ops people that are currently actually doing raids all over the world, saving people out of sex slavery. We probably can't get into that because it's obviously being funded by some patriots, and who knows if the government even knows it's going on. But the point is, Craig, you know more about this stuff than I do, so I don't know how much we can talk about, but you've got the floor. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, Alex. Well, in short, I am inclined to go public with this because this whole pedophile business has been really suppressed by the media. I know people that have done good investigations, been part of the great roundups and networks of arrests in this field, and they just say, man, it just doesn't hit the light of day. It just goes away because there is so much influence. A lot of these pedophiles are very connected, they're very wealthy, and they own a lot of the media, and things just get swept under the rug. And I have decided to go independent. We were supposed to have a television series to kind of show this 2 years ago, and it keeps not happening because those involved in the media apparently don't want to still see this come to light. So my heart breaks when I imagine the visual of what I'm learning from my friends that are deep into these investigations and saying, Craig, this is turning out, revealing itself to be the front lines between good and evil in the United States. This is really kind of what my friends are seeing as the front lines of the fight for the soul of our nation, because it's so sick and so depraved what they're learning with these arrests and the busts and what they're finding. It's hard for us to believe as decent, morally decent citizens what's going on. And
well, I don't mean to interrupt you after my 10-minute intro. I should also add, you're also a veteran federal law enforcement officer, and we probably can't even get into all those classified areas you've been involved in. So you have federal law enforcement connections. You have also, obviously, in the CIA, Navy SEALs, everything. You've been in all of it. And so the point is, this is what you're getting back from everybody. And we see it in the news. 3,000 plus reported pedophiles arrested, many times with the sex slaves, and then it goes totally dark. That shows total proof, the total control.
Yeah, absolutely. It's being suppressed, and that's where I think the fight really is in shining the light on it. I always say sunlight is the best antiseptic for corruption. And that is exactly what's needed here. That's what the doctor ordered. That's what I feel like I can do with my background and my connections. Man, I've got a team with senior veterans from virtually every intelligence and law enforcement agency out there, as well as the highest end of counterterrorism for operators. So we can do a lot of good with this. And it's really all about, for our organization.
And we're going to launch it when we come back from break. I want a drumbeat. You're launching a new national organization. This is going to really scare the scumbags. But I want you to really take your time when we come back. Walk through everybody having this come to Jesus moment and just seeing it. And like you said, the fight for the soul of the world, not just America. This is really going on. It's a pedophile empire, is how it was described to me by a senior retired general. And they just say, this is the one thing you touch, they come after you. Well, you know what? It's time to say, fill your hand, isn't it?
Yeah, man, it is. It is. I can't look away. Alex. There are a lot of things I'd rather spend my time doing, man. I'd rather be, at the beach with those that I care about, or doing anything else recreational. But with my background, I feel like I have the ability to make a positive difference, and my heart breaks for these children, and I cannot look away, and I will do what I can. And I think my best impact is to expose it so that we can clean it up.
Let me launch it right now. Everybody needs to tweet it, Facebook it. The reason you're doing this, again, we talked about this privately last week, but we're going to get more into it when we come back, because we haven't talked much since then, or haven't talked since then. You were just saying, I got to do something, I want to do something, and we're going to talk about it when we come back, but it's vetsforchildrescue.org. And just since he even started talking about it privately, they've shut off his Twitter, Facebook, you name it, won't let him spread anything because, again, folks, everything's surveilled by these people. That's what's so scared is we got a pedophile network in control, basically, of the NSA. We'll be back. Stay with us. I'm going to come back, and I want him to start at the beginning and just lay it out as much as he wants to tell you. But I was told Trump's going after the pedophiles when he got in. That was something we mentioned on there, but it's like, wow, that's an interesting campaign promise to people behind the scenes of the military and other folks that I talked to. And then you see his tweets from years ago saying, we need to just kill these people when they get convicted. I want them executed. Because he's in New York. He knows about the elites. And it's just Trump I know people that have known him 50 years, not just like Roger 40. He hates people that abuse children. And Trump is just... Well, he's a neat freak and a lot of other things. He just can't stand pedophiles. And so Trump just says, roll them up. Because law enforcement gets persecuted. People go after them. Stuff happens to their families. And Trump's just, hey, he's told the agencies, everybody, roll them up. And that's why Trump looks a little more serious when you even see him now. It's not the old happy Trump, because he now knows way more than he knew before. Vetsforchildrescue.org. We're going to talk about launching this. Other groups are doing this behind the scenes. You're seeing, the number is over 3,000 now arrested in just 69 days that Trump's been in. And it's not the old-fashioned, just some child porn. It's people with 4-year-olds, with 2-year-olds in cages. It's legislators. It's judges. It's high-powered people. It's bad, folks. And I want to be clear. I'm not saying most judges are involved in this. Or you find it, though, because they've got controllers in key positions. And they're trying to take our system over. That's why they're doing this. You can see in the news their agenda and their publications even promoting it, like pedophilia is okay. They're going to take that out of context. I didn't say that. That's Salon Magazine. All this other crap. Let me have access to this and that. So we're going to go back to Craig here in a moment. Just so you know, and I'm not complaining. This is my job. Quite frankly, it's not gallows humor. It's more than that. I know when they're nationally saying, shut off my advertisers, kick me off Google, kick me off AdRoll, shut me down, arrest me, gag. It's in the news that I must be really hurting these people. And boy, when I go into the pedophile stuff, they just go completely insane. So I realize, but you need to know, though, kind of like the Alamo sending a letter out, hey, we're here, we're going to stay to the end. They are chopping our tentacles off, the different legs of our stool here all the time. We're growing other ones fast. We're moving forward, and it feels good. We're in a war, though. This is an information war with people out there that actually have to deal with it on the ground, like these law enforcement people and military veterans that have to go in and see the kids in the cages, okay? Okay? Because I won't even in these investigations look at the stuff, okay? I just can't do it. I've never seen it. I won't see it. I've seen some stuff investigating Islamicists that I couldn't believe. So I guess I have seen them killing kids. But the point is that this stuff's meant to kill your soul. Imagine the guys that have to deal with it, and then nothing's done on top of it. That's one reason you see all the suicide with veterans and people is because they understand that nothing's being done to fight real evil. So now with our iodine, you have to get it from gas drilling. There's only a few big companies that go that deep to get it. We're the only company putting out deep earth crystal stuff. You got to get DEA approved because you can do all sorts of stuff with this. Not what we sell you because it's put into palm oil, but the pure crystals. That's why it's so good. It's the good halogen. It's helped me so much. It's helped so many other people. We're selling out of it. And we've been selling this 4 years. And I've never sat there and said, oh, by the way, we might not be able to get the crystals anymore. But now it's running into issues. Oh, well, when we go in, it costs a lot to extract it when we hit 12,000 feet. So you need to pay more. And either we're going to get a new source or it's going to go up in price because it already cost me a lot. I mean, we're talking, there's like $7 of the iodine alone that goes in the bottle. And then the palm oil and the packaging and the marketing and everything else. You know, it's so the point is, we've got, but we're running a special 30% off and selenium from mustard seed, needed in all electrochemical activity. They go together like a horse and carriage, supercharging. I mean, I've lost 60, 70 pounds, folks. I'm no beach body, but you know, the point is, I work out less than I did when I was trying to lose it because of the selenium, because of the X2, the super male. But if you want it, you better get it now because it's about to sell out. Then we've got one more big run we can do with what we've got left in our DEA SEALs, former federal officer, you know, host of major TV shows. I can't go over all of it. You know, History Channel's Most Deadly Missions. You've got the program Top Shot, all 5 seasons. Point is, you're a prominent, super respected guy. You're coming out saying you have all these other colleagues that are saying they're covering up mass pedophilia. We see the roundups happening. We see the stories being killed. That is, all these should just be giant #1 stories. So take it over.
Yeah, well, I do have an eclectic background, a kind of a wide scope of personal experience, and I think that's what's allowed me to assemble this team of experts that are senior veterans of so many different units, law enforcement, intelligence, counterterrorist units that are very, very, very capable. They spent their lifetimes solving very difficult problems internationally, and all of my colleagues are very good people. And in this case, we just want to rally around the innocent babies and children who are being tortured, and their little lives and psyches are being shattered by pedophiles, and learning what's going on. And you're right, President Trump has his DOJ after these guys, and they're making hundreds and even thousands of arrests now. So thank God, that's a great thing. And what I have been frustrated in watching, and others as well, is how suppressed this issue has always been. And it just seems like no matter how much good work is done trying to clean this up, the American citizens don't really get to learn about it. This just kind of goes away. It goes quiet. So when I was in the Federal Air Marshal Service, I blew the whistle on a guy that was eventually taken down for gross mismanagement and retaliation. And he was at the top of the Las Vegas field office for a while. He had come from the FBI. So I saw how the government, puts a damper on things that it doesn't want to get out. And I saw what government crooks do, what they look like when they can't control things. In the case of the Air Marshal Service, those who are guilty of gross mismanagement at the top of the Air Marshal Service were very, very rattled, visibly shaken when they had air marshals who were going to the press, because these managers had their federal system wired and they could get away with whatever they wanted as they had come up through the ranks with their colleagues and other MSPB and different aspects of the federal government, OIG and so forth, that are supposed to intervene in the case of mismanagement. They had it all wired, and they were arrogant about it, but they couldn't control those who are going directly to the media undercover. And while at the time I didn't agree with those going to the media, I saw in observation how it rattled those who were crooked. And that's what they could not control. That's what they feared most. And I think that's what I'm going to apply to this pedophile ring crisis. And that's what I can do, Alex. I'm not afraid. I've got a unique background that allows me to have colleagues that are very connected, very powerful, and gathering the information, cooperating with federal and local law enforcement, being part of these investigations and busts. And most importantly for us is sharing, circumventing the gatekeepers of big Hollywood and the so-called news media who would keep this suppressed, and getting it out there anyway against all odds so that we, the American people, can be informed. And the ultimate objective of my effort on this, Alex, is to create a non-permissive environment for this scourge against the very soul of our nation, which is our children.
And again, let's talk about what you just launched today, vetsforchildrescue.org. I know that just across the patriots that are in law enforcement, but also in the military, you name it, and also internationally, people know this is real. It keeps coming out. The British police chiefs come out and say the whole government's run by pedophiles, basically, in the UK. Most of the dominant positions. They keep catching them in Europe in huge rings, and then it gets covered up. And then I've talked to a lot of people. They say, Alex, don't you get it? They're not just mad at Trump about trying to return power to America and make us great again. It's the pedophilia. And it's true. When you hit on this, all hell breaks loose. For myself, you, And again, we're not trying to intimidate people for these groups. It's just people need to understand the old saying, World War II bomber pilots, as you know, Craig, you're over the target, you're getting the flak. They used to steer into the flak clouds to drop their bombs. I mean, this is like the flak on this is just incredible. And I see MSM because, you know, we come out and, you know, correct some statement we made on some issue or whatever about a larger topic. And they go, oh, my God, Alex Jones says pedophilia doesn't exist or whatever. It's like so crazy to see major publications sexualizing children, saying it's no big deal, promoting it, you know, trying to sexualize children in the schools. Clearly, they're obsessed with this, and those of us that aren't like them just don't get it. So from your sources, and I've got a stack of news here I can show TV viewers, just every day, massive arrests of prominent pedophiles found with the kids. It's not like, you know, it's just some child porn got put on their computer or something. That's a classic setup. How deep it goes, how big it is, and what your sources are saying from the things they're seeing.
What I am learning, Alex, is that some of the biggest names, families, and foundations anywhere are complicit in this. It's part of their culture. It's a ritualistic thing that apparently they feel like they get power from doing these unspeakable, unthinkable things to infants. I can't wrap my mind around it. I've seen a lot, Alex, but this seems to be the worst. And whatever it is, we're going to expose it. We're going to show the people. A lot of people are advising me, Craig, you can't show this. The American public can't stand it. They can't deal with it. And I'm thinking, man, it's happening. We as a nation have to be at least strong enough. If these children can endure this, can't we pay enough attention to help correct it? I mean, that's the least we can do, is at least tune in long enough to go, hey, look, all right, this is unacceptable. We can group together. We can unite to create stronger legislation against this, not to allow it to be normalized and say that it's okay, because it's not okay for the infant that's tortured or murdered. It's not okay for the child whose emotions are shattered. Their psyche is just absolutely devastated, traumatized, and a lot of times they never recover. They're never right, even if they survive it physically. It's unthinkable. It is evil. The guys that are on the closest parts of the investigation, Alex, are calling it evil just due to how destructive and how deranged and perverse it is. And my concern is how pervasive it is, how many are involved, and how wide it goes. And I think the longer, in my opinion, the longer it stays quiet, the longer these perverts and predators who are attacking the soul of our nation and our kids are allowed to enjoy the veil of secrecy, the more depraved and the larger this thing grows, this beast. So I think we've got to rip the lid off of it, shine some sunlight on it in order to create a non-permissive environment for this in the future.
That's right, because there's nothing they censor more than us even trying to, I mean, that KTLA article where they admit kids found in cages and all this, and you know, 474 arrested and all the rest of it, and the police finally doing this because they've got the green light from the president, you know, that at least they're going to get some backing. Meanwhile, we try to share that on Facebook. They won't let us do it. And I guess we talked a few weeks ago at dinner. We haven't really talked since then, or whatever it was, a week and a half ago. I guess, not putting words in your mouth, that's what finally pushed you over the line, pissing you off, that you'd try to even share links and they'd ban you. And then personally seeing stuff going on in your town, it's just, this is a spirit. So can you, I mean, speak specifically to why you've launched and what's going to happen with vets4childrescue.org? Because if we get America's finest veterans and patriots and law enforcement speaking out openly. By the way, this is some of the most powerful radio we've ever done. I'm going to send you an external mic, though, so the audio's better. This is powerful, Craig. And, you know, I talked to all these other guys, and they just say that it's all well-known. It's documented. It keeps coming out. The UN. Seems like people join the UN to do this. It's like the UN seems to be a cult that does it. So as I guess contractors, you guys have seen this, you know, going on or heard about it. And so it's just coming to a head, and it seems like there's an attempt here to just take over culture and kind of come out of the closet with the pedophilia and the Satanism.
Well, if you look into the history of how the perversion in the United States has been incorporated into our medical system, into our educational system, and into our laws. It's been a very deliberate and systematic twisting of the truth. And I know you're aware of it, Alex, but a lot of the other people aren't. I would encourage anyone to research it. There are a lot of documentaries that have been put together, investigators put together the history of that. But it's a systematic campaign to break down the basic moral decency of the United States, and one at a time normalize these different types of perversion. And I say, man, whatever you do between consenting and adults is not really my concern. What I'm concerned about is a child who can't say no, a child who has no say, enduring the unthinkable. A child doesn't understand why these.
We should say it not because we want to act tough, but because it's true. I'm not somebody that shoots my mouth off about violence, but knowing what I know from behind the scenes and what's confirmed, as a man, I mean, seriously, I want these people tried, convicted, and listen, I'm happy to sit up there at the public square and hang their ass. I'll sit there all day and flip those levers after they get a jury of their peers. They want to mainline this crap. They keep pushing. They think they can dominate us. I mean, what is it like you, a trained, like you said, a sheepdog, a lover, not a fighter, but somebody that's ready to, kill bad guys? How do you handle that animal energy? Because the reason I never focus on this too much over the years is when I do, I get so pissed that I can't handle it. I mean, I get physically pissed off listening to this.
Well, I am angry about what I see, Alex, but I find, having had a very sincere and devout pastor for a father who did so much good, that love is more powerful than hate. It really is. You want to rock something. You want to devastate a campaign that is damaging. You do it with love, and you stay within the lines of what people can accept as good and wholesome.
That's the most powerful thing I think I've heard in 22 years of broadcasting. Because let me say this. I was having that feeling this morning that I was actually on my knees praying at like 5 a.m. because I hate these people so much that I feel like I'm becoming evil. I hate them so much. And I was just asking God to give.
I'll break on that. Now, what's interesting, I'm at GoFundMe right now because I'm going to Vets for Child Rescue right now, trying to make a payment to donate to Craig Sawyer right now. And I am running into millions of problems. I mean, it's like I'm trying to sign in. They're trying to get me here. Then this website doesn't work. And now I'm trying to put in my credit card number. And then it's flipping the number. It's flipping my numbers. It's hard for me to put the numbers in. It keeps on flipping the numbers. Keep every little thing I'm trying to do. I'm having a hard time putting in, setting up my own login accounts, all this kind of stuff. Things are flipping around. They said when they broadcasted this that there was that GoFundMe took it down. It looks like they put it back up. Again, I'm trying to make a donation now, right now, as we speak on air. And this stupid thing keeps flipping my card around. Literally, I'm having to do this for the third time. It is insane. Anyways, Craig Sawyer will be right back with his, with the end of this report. If you can make a donation to this federal law enforcement agent, this patriot who's going to go after these pedophile rings. We need to get rid of these Satanist rings, the demonic power. The ancestor liberation have been done. These, the spirits of these children, the actual children who are being trafficked. We need to put an end to this. Craig Sawyer is the man. He's the guy. This is a high-level guy type of person that has to do it. So, if you're being pushed and prompted by the Spirit, make a donation. I'm going to be making a donation during the break, finalizing it, and we'll be right back after this break.
I will trust in at break of day. In hope we rise, we speak your name.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Carr Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood, the history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun, to the best in compact concealed carry, Carr Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Carr Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit carr.com today. Carr Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Carr Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Carr Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood, the history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun, to the best in compact concealed carry, Carr Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Carr Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit carr.com today. Carr Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Carr Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Carr Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood, the history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun, to the best in compact concealed carry, Carr Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Carr Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit carr.com today.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk, and I'm trying to make this payment to Greg Sawyer's organization right now. And this stupid GoFundMe, and he talked about it. They were having problems with GoFundMe. Actually took it down, and I'm trying to do this live online. I'm gonna come here, right here, right. And I'm not gonna show my credit card number to the world, but I'm gonna watch, just like I showed you. Watch this. I type in the number. It flips it. See that? It's been doing that. This is now my 10th time trying to put my dang card number in. 10th time. Watch again. I put in that number. It flips it. It flips it. It keeps screwing up my number. Now watch this. Now I have to erase one. I have to jump forward. Then I put it in. Okay, now I got around their system, which keeps on flipping my stupid card number. When I just followed my card number, it flipped everything around. Show the queen too, she's right here. It flipped everything around. It came up with a totally different card number. Okay, then I had to go back. What the hell is going on? I had to go back and I'm going through it, and then it lets you put the 4 first numbers, and then as soon as you put the other number, it starts flipping. It flips those numbers, so you can't make a payment. Now look, I got my way around that by deleting one, jumping forward, deleting one, jumping forward, doing all this kind of ridiculousness. Now I've gotten to the end of that. Okay, I got the right number in. Now let's put in. Look at that. Doesn't let me put in the expiration. I got to do it again. You see how cumbersome this is? All right, now I'm going to press to go make the payment. Okay, so it has gone through. Now it's gone through, and it's made the payment. But did you see how many ridiculous times I had to do that? And this is now the 10th time I'm trying to make a payment to this. 10th time. This is insane, folks. Insane.
So you let them know how
They were talking, okay, finally it went through. I had to make a whole login number. I had to make a whole password thing, fill out the whole thing with the, what is this, username, whatever. I'm trying to go into this organization, Vets for Child Rescue, Vets for Child. Donate, folks, donate, support them. They've now raised like 9% of their funds. What is it? They raised like 48,000. They want to raise 500,000 in the next 3 days or something like that. We need patriots from all walks, all colors, all races, creeds, and colors. Doesn't matter. Fund this man. He is the man. Top level, Delta Force, Navy SEAL, federal law enforcement agent for 20 years. He is the man. Had top 3 TV shows, gave up all that because he wants to go after the pedophile networks, the ones that are actual Satanists, trafficking children, not only trafficking, raping them, killing them, necrophilia, selling them, you name it. Trump is going after these people. He's going up 3,000 plus pedophiles being imprisoned. But this is the core of Satan's power, to destroy the innocent, to create a culture of minor attraction syndrome where it's legal and decriminalized. Go fund this man. You go to Vets for Child Rescue. You go to click here, pull that screen up, guys. Vets for a Child. Can we do that? Can you guys pull that up? Is a tech team working? Is that tech working now? Okay, it's good. Go to Vets for Child Rescue. Show everybody the website so they can go donate. Support these guys. These guys are true patriots. They are true. They are real. There it is. vetsforchildrescue.org. Just click that. And you're probably going to encounter all these troubles on GoFundMe and all this. I've never experienced anything like that for making a credit card payment. Never. I mean, Amma, you saw, right? Amma, she saw it right there. She saw it right there. How many times you saw it? Many times, right? The stupid thing keeps flipping. As you put your number in, they keep flipping it with an algorithm, so you cannot actually make a payment. You have to get around that by deleting one, jumping forward, then typing your number in, deleting one, jumping forward. It's unbelievable, all right? Finally, I got after literally the 10th time, okay, of trying. Literally, then it finally went through after I'm not giving up doing this. So make sure you don't get dissuaded by that craziness. GoFundMe, already they exposed them saying that they pulled down their website. They pulled down their campaign because, again, wherever he went, K-Sword is at the top level, folks. You understand? He's Delta Force, he's Navy SEALs, he has CIA contacts all throughout the government, federal law enforcement agent for 20 years. He has contacts throughout the entire deep state. But he's on the able side. He's out there fighting Satan. There it is right there. They've raised 9%, 26 days left. $43,100 have been made. What is there? What are they trying to? Oh, they raised $500,000. They're trying to raise $500,000. There it is, folks. Craig Sawyer and the Vets for Child Rescue. Go support this man. This man is a patriot. He's a hero. He's going after those pieces of trash. He's going after those pedophiles, and that's why we need to have severe punishments for these kind of demons. Severe. You understand, in the past, this is why they did witch burnings and capital punishment, and this is why they did, burning people at the stake. I mean, that was basically capital punishment. I mean, these people, a lot of these people in the Satanist circles, Wiccan circles, especially in the ancient rituals, they are involved in human sacrifice. They're involved in child kidnapping, trafficking, sex rituals, and of course, murder and cannibalism. So as a community, yeah, you have to give them the capital punishment because they're beyond, they have sold them, they have become a material Satan on this world. Okay, there it is. There it is right there. You can go down there and make your own fund. Are you guys trying it there? Yeah, I did it. I actually did it through donate to this campaign. Oh yeah, let's show the viewers if we can try. No, go down, not through Stripe. I don't know what Stripe is anyways. Go down, there's some different way to do it. I think I should do it by PayPal or something. Is that it? Just go, okay, yeah, that's fine. Go donate through Stripe. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, you have to actually log in too. You have to create a whole logger name, username, password. Otherwise, you can't even make a payment. So ridiculous, so painful. Okay, let's see if we can do that. You can put in a fake username and password or whatever, and try to go and let's show our audience what troubles I was running into, so they can see it for themselves. You're probably going to encounter it too. And these kind of people, these kind of patriots, are the people that we need to be supporting, folks. They are going after those rings. Let's go back to that interview as we try to create a fake username and password to get in and show you what is happening with their crazy email, which he actually warns about in this interview. Let's go back to the interview first. Let's go back to the interview first. Interview first, guys. Interview first. Let's go back to the interview.
It's just like, I guess, how do you then, I guess we just lovingly move forward, but at the same time, I guess we lovingly, once they're convicted, flip that switch?
Well, I feel like I have to do this, so I am unafraid. This isn't about me. I don't do this in my own strength. I'm doing this because I feel...
No, you're a TV host. You're doing a great job. We're the top guys in Hollywood for training. Undoubtedly, we've talked about this off record. I don't even want to say it, but we all pay a price for telling the truth. But like, who cares? We're telling the truth. That's what really matters. But yeah, you're doing this despite the fact it'll probably hurt your career because you know what Hollywood's packed with.
Yeah, I'm past that. They have no idea what's coming from me and mine. Look, I know enough to know the game of what's going on and the struggle for power of the United States and the rest of the globe. But I'm focused on the United States. And this is our home. This is our nation. And I am not afraid. And what I have seen really, really makes the biggest difference is when someone who is not afraid takes it to the crooks. And a lot of people, and this is what I started to touch on before, I didn't get it all out before Alex is about overcoming fear. It is those of us who do not fear that bring the fight to the crooks, that rattles them and shakes their cage and brings their house of cards tumbling down. It's not that I'm so brilliant and I'm so capable by myself. Again, this isn't about me. This is the fact that I feel that I've been called to tear the lid off of this, shine the sunlight on it.
You're committed.
And I am not afraid. And so I am coming for them. And yes, I do have all the deadliest skills anyone's ever had. U.S. government, thank you, Alex, for your tax dollars and everyone else spending millions of dollars teaching me and training me to do so many things. And all of the colleagues that I've assembled to bring this fight forward. And it's not about how spooky and deadly we are, although we are, but that allows us not to be afraid. And not by our strength do we do this, but we carry the good fight forward.
Man, right there, that's a deadly man, right there.
And simply clean it up. I do not hate those, as despicable and harmful as their actions are against these kids. I hate the act. I hate the
spirit
on the victims. That's what I hate. If there's any hate, it's that. I love the children so much that I want to go and change this, and I fear not, and I will not stop.
And let's be clear. When they kill patriots or take us down,
that's a real man right there. A real man.
We chose this.
That's a real man.
The enemy always
right
celebrates
there.
it when patriots fall.
True
people
patriot,
love that fall.
true
God loves that.
warrior.
That's the example, the tree of
Love
liberty.
it.
So let's be clear. Whatever happens to us in this mission, and clearly now they've let us know this is the mission. We chose. We're not running away. Escape's not our plan. We're here. We're facing it. We have victory by making the right choice. That's what it's all about. Is the spiritual decision.
Yep, I watched my father do the right thing no matter what it cost him. He was singularly focused on his relationship with God, with his creator, and that nothing deterred him, nothing distracted him. He understood. He was all about it. He was tuned in. And I saw that positive model was so impactful, so powerful. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And
He loves his father. Look at
use
that.
that as kind of a model.
Loves his
to
father.
emulate. If he can make that sort
What
of
a good
impact,
man. What a good,
what can we
honorable,
have? And his under his
high
influence
quality
and his guidance, his role model.
Superman. These kind of guys are Superman.
I intend to honor my father in what I do, and one day see him again. Hopefully he's proud. I know he will be, but pardon me, it's an emotional thing because anytime I talk about my father and stuff, there's a lot of good stuff. But
Talk about your father. That's where you get the honor from. Talk about your dad. It's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, again, it's hard because it's so close to home. But when I went off to the SEAL teams, I couldn't come back home to Houston, Texas, and take my father anywhere without people coming up and hugging him and thanking him for all the things that he did. He would go to the prisons and he would go to hospitals and the mean streets and just help people turn their lives.
Look at Alex. He's crying. He's tearing.
Well, the good news is, good's coming
Alex
back into
has
the world,
such a good
and we're
heart,
going to come
this
after
man.
these evil people. I think their offensive against humanity is a sign of their actual weakness. I think it's their battle of the bulge. What do you think?
Well, again, and let me
his
continue on
heart
my fear
is
thing.
true.
I
He's a
have
true heart.
seen that those who abuse their authority,
I mean, he
those
really
that
wants to
abuse
bring down
their
these
wealth,
Satanists.
those who abuse their power are the weakest among us. So many Americans, the citizens, feel disempowered and they feel afraid of those behind the curtain because of a big fancy title, a big fancy name, and a picture that has been painted. But what I have done,
That's such an important point. He just made an incredible point. He said it's the weakest amongst us that want to get to power and centralize power. And this is what's so important. This is why peace, police, militia is so important. It makes us strong. You see, if they stay weak, they actually get attracted to centralized power because it's their only way for them to steal resources that they'll never be able to create their own strength. I want to look at my own kids from when they were young and they were used to be computer game, just nerd bag Asian kids. Want to play computer game on their skinny little right? I mean, it's not that they're bad kids or any child that grows up like that, because they're going to be so weak and pathetic, they're not going to be able to not only stand against evil, they're going to be attracted to the idea of a centralized power, because that is going to give them a easy way for them to have power that they don't have to work for, that they never have to struggle for. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when you have people like this, and look at this honorable, wonderful, true human being with fire in his eyes and a soul. He has a soul. He wants to protect kids. He's a father. He's a patriot. He's a war veteran. He's a real man, and he's deadly. This guy has killed many people. Okay, he is deadly. But at the same time, you can see the love in his heart. He does. You see his love for humanity. You see his sheepdog nature, want to protect humanity from predators. I mean, this is what it's all about, folks. That's what peace, police, militia is. It's about unlock those epigenetics so we become like Craig Sawyers. We become like these protectors of humanity. We become like these guys who are willing and have no fear looking at the predator. In fact, they get energized in thinking about hunting down those predators. They feel passion, power, and excitement. All that training and investment they put in is now going to be unleashed on the enemy. You see that? Because it takes a lot of investment to get guys to this level. Huge investment. Even my boys, when I see my boys, they're getting much better in jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And I look at them and I say, wow, how many hours did I have to invest to get them this good? And they know that. They know their daddy had to train them. They know their daddy I teach them all the secret techniques. I just give them all the things that, the videos will never give you. Now, things that I worked for, things that I had to fight for. They get it because I'm their daddy. Those little bastards. In a good way. But they get it because they're daddy. And they improve. And when I look at them, it's like, wow, they've come so far. Of course, they had to put their work in. They had to, and of course, their daddy's a high-level coach, so I'm able to not only coach in the techniques, but I'm able to psychologically help them through their battles. And I've been doing that since they're that small. We've been doing their days and having personal relationship with each one of our children since they were that small, literally from 5 years old. And we have invested so much in our kids in terms of time, in terms of energy, in terms of, of course we don't invest, like there's some parents that just pour money into the kids and just send them to these private schools and send them and they end up like crap. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about real face-to-face time investment. That's where your kids learn honor. They don't learn honor by you just dumping money on them, sending them to a stupid hogwan in private school. They learn how to be an arrogant twerp that way. I'm talking about one-on-one, private time, face-to-face, helping them, working through that issue, helping them, positioning them for success. And I see the kids, and I was telling my wife the other day, and I said, it's going to be wonderful to be, because Gungi stole her gi. She stole your jiu-jitsu gi. She loves your gi, the white one with the pink cool script letters, like jiu-jitsu is on the mat. It's a really cool gi. I got that for you. I got that for the queen, like, how many years ago? That was when my father was here. I got you 5 years ago, because you were just starting jiu-jitsu when father was here,
Yeah,
right? When father was here in 2012. Okay, she had her first jiu-jitsu class. I organized it. I set it up. I had my MMA guys get a woman jiu-jitsu coach, and I would be training for the fights in MMA, and then she would be training. She had her first jiu-jitsu lesson in 2012. Remember that? A Korean brown belt girl, actually.
I heard that she became now.
Is she black belt? She's a black belt now. Okay. But anyways, nice lady, nice girl. But yeah, you had your first jiu-jitsu lesson right there, and and that was your gi, that was her kimono, and my daughter loves that, so she actually uses that. She stole it from you, kind of, with your approval. But I see her, and I said, wow, it would be amazing to see her one day become a blue belt, but like a purple belt. And of course, a black belt is like, wow, it's ridiculous. Sometimes I see my own kids, I say, I don't know if they're gonna make it to black belt, because you never know. And I'm not saying if they're going to be watching this broadcast too, so that doesn't mean give up. You got to keep fighting for it. It's getting the black belt in jiu-jitsu is the hardest martial art to get in, okay? But not only that, it's a symbol of accomplishment of your drive, your energy, your perseverance, your character. Okay, not only of your death techniques, not only of your death touches and your death knowledge, but it's a symbol of your character. It's a symbol of your perseverance. Okay, and I was just looking at and just imagine, even in my own mind's eye, imagining my children one day having purple belts and being purple belts. I'm like, wow, that is. By then, I'll be black belt by then. But just wow, that's like it fills me with so much joy. I mean, thinking of them being like promoted like that, it builds me more joy than if they went to Harvard and got these stupid PhDs. And they're useless, stupid degrees. And you just get brainwashed. All you do is get brainwashed into a cult. I tell my wife all the time, I have my stupid Harvard diploma. And then I have my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt ranking. I say, I'm so much more proud of this. I am a million times more proud of my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt ranking than my stupid Harvard degree. And when I see these kids, and that's why when you raise children and you really invest in them. Now, I'm talking about money investment only, okay? That's not the type of investment I'm talking about only. I'm talking about real investment in raising these people to be honorable, powerful people with unlocked epigenetics that don't fear evil and they can stand up against predators. As a father, as a mother, but as a father especially, there is no greater feeling that wells up on the inside to see your children become high quality, moral, sheepdog, protector, strong people who have not only the mindset, who have the courage to do so, but have the ability to stand up against evil. That's why Peace, Police, Peace, Militia. Even like young people, like Andy's son too, he's a skinny little twig. That boy's like 905 pounds. But that boy can beat up kids that are like almost 200 pounds because of the technique. Him and Tessung, these small little kids. Tessung getting really good at like that's Marianne's brother right here. He's getting real good at the arm bar. They're beating up kids 200 freaking pounds, adults. Right, you understand? In a death battle, every time you submit somebody, you literally broke their arm or you literally killed them by choking them to death. You understand? Every time you tap, you're admitting, I just died. I just died. Right? I mean, it's so wonderful to see all these kids, man. All these kids I train. I see some of them, like Caleb out there, Kaylin, Shimbach, Marianne, Misha, you guys, all you guys training. Man, it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring to see these kids becoming stronger, unlocking these epigenetics. Kaylin's getting good with armbar too. Shimbach's getting tough too. Shimbach's getting real tough. Mickey, holy shit, Mickey, you watching this broadcast? Dang, girl, she getting tough. I can't believe it, Mickey. She used to be the little wimpiest Japanese girl. She's getting tough. They can't beat her up anymore. I can't believe it.
I think she's practicing with her husband.
She's practicing with her husband every day. They become a jiu-jitsu ninja couple. I digress. The point is, when we step into unlock those epigenetics like this man, Craig Sawyer, fund him, support him, folks. Go support his Vets for Child Rescue. This is the spirit. This is the spirit of Chaniogo Peace, Police, Peace Militia, baby. This is the spirit. If you're training with us, even if you donate $1, make the spiritual commitment. Please donate more than $1, all right? Don't be a freaking Scrooge. Give me a break. Donate more than a freaking $1. But we connect the micro to the macro. And that little investment makes a huge difference. Not only in the work he's doing, it makes a difference in our own spirit, in our own energy, in our own psychology, in our own mission, in our own children. It changes the atmosphere of you when you help people who are going after the most wicked demon Satanists on the planet. We stand against these Satanists. And with people like this and the whole group of deep state patriots and Christians, they are going down and they will perish. We'll be right back after this short break.
Oh my God, won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved. stand to grieve on their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved. Boys become kings.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. Let's go now to Tim, the agent elder, for a very important report. Tim.
Okay. I want to start out this morning by talking about an interview that President Trump gave to the Financial Times, and it was published in the Financial Times on Sunday. And this has to do with the visit by President Xi Jinping of China that's coming up on Thursday. Now, whenever you have a summit between two important countries like China and the U.S., it's both sides are jockeying and trying to set the agenda and trying to gain the advantage, because this is a hugely important negotiation that will affect what happens in the world for some years to come. And this interview is obviously part of the White House's effort to set the agenda for that summit and to put pressure on President Xi Jinping as he prepares to come to the United States. It's interesting to me that this interview was given by the White House to a British newspaper, newspaper that's published in London. I think if this were Obama, he probably would have done it with the New York Times, Washington Post. If it had been Bush, maybe the Wall Street Journal. But I think Trump had to go outside the United States to give this kind of an important strategic interview because the U.S. media right now is in such a frenzy and the mainstream media is so deeply committed to undermining the Trump presidency by any means possible. And I don't know why he happened to give this to this particular reporter from Financial Times. Maybe a personal relationship from past, I don't know. But anyway, all that being said, just to look at this is a very important interview that because Trump is basically laying out his position and his sort of, he's setting the groundwork for that meeting that he's going to have on Thursday and Friday in Mar-a-Lago with the Chinese president. Now, as I read this, there's a paragraph way down towards the bottom in this. I'm actually reading the Reuters story about this interview. And when I came to that paragraph, I sort of did a double take because because I think it is actually the most important paragraph in this. And that is this paragraph here, which I will cover first, and then go through the article in order. But let's do this first because I think this is the most important paragraph. So Trump was asked by the reporter if he would consider a grand bargain in which China pressured Pyongyang in return for a guarantee the United States would later remove troops from the Korean Peninsula. That was the question. Would President Trump consider a grand bargain in which China pressured Pyongyang in return for a guarantee that the United States would later remove troops from the Korean Peninsula? It's interesting to me that I cannot remember when this kind of a question was ever put to a president of the United States or any senior U.S. official. So I can imagine, I can speculate various scenarios as a background for this. Maybe the White House planted this question. Maybe they wanted this question to be asked. Maybe the reporter had information from another source or sources that this kind of a grand bargain is actually in the making. But the fact that this subject was even raised is an important turning point in my mind in the history of the U.S. relations in the Korean Peninsula and in East Asia in general. Because it shows that, yeah, there is that kind of a discussion going on someplace. That this kind of a thing is now not something that cannot be imagined. So what does Trump say? How does he answer this? And the newspaper quotes Trump as saying as follows: well, if China is not going to solve North Korea, we will. We will. That is all I'm telling you. So Trump chooses not to answer the question, which again, so that at a minimum, he leaves open the possibility that such a grand bargain is in the works, at a minimum. And if you can even speculate that he's actually saying yes. There's an implied yes there, that this kind of a thing is being discussed, and that he may even be talking about it. Maybe this kind of discussion, maybe this is what Rex Tillerson, when he went to China last month, actually raised with the Chinese. It's possible. Now, that kind of a grand bargain, you can imagine, would be very attractive to the Chinese because pressuring North Korea, that's a kind of a temporary thing, whereas getting U.S. troops off the peninsula, that would be a much more permanent thing. So to them, the Chinese, this would be a great deal. The only thing is, the Chinese say, well, wait a second, things are already going good and already going in a good direction. If a leftist president takes power in South Korea in May, maybe that president will arrange for the U.S. troops to be withdrawn, and we won't have to do anything. We don't have to. Maybe we don't have to agree to this with the United States, even without a grand bargain. Maybe the U.S. troops will be leaving South Korea anyway. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of a position China will reveal on this in the coming weeks and months. But right now in the Korean Peninsula, things are going in China's direction. We don't know who is going to become the new South Korean president when the election is held on May 9th. My understanding is that there will not be a transition period, and that the person who is elected on May 9th will take power as soon as the election is certified, which should take more than a few days. And if that president is a leftist, as is often speculated now, then the THAAD missile defense system will be reconsidered, perhaps, and then the status of U.S. troops on the peninsula will be reconsidered. I can remember in the 80s when I was a reporter in South Korea, we used to always say that there were 40, I can't remember exactly the number, 40-some thousand U.S. troops. Now I read the articles, they're talking about 28,000. So even over the years, U.S. has been reducing its troop level in South Korea anyway. But China certainly wants U.S. troops out of South Korea because they want to be able to control that peninsula. Once they can control the South Korean peninsula completely, then they will be able to put a great deal of pressure on Japan and on U.S. troops in Japan. Let me go through this article, this Reuters article about the Financial Times interview from the top now. U.S. President Donald Trump held out the possibility on Sunday of using trade as a lever to secure Chinese cooperation against North Korea, and suggested Washington might deal with Pyongyang's nuclear and missile programs on its own if need be. The comments in an interview published on Sunday by the Financial Times appeared designed to pressure Chinese President Xi Jinping ahead of his visit to Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida this week. China has great influence over North Korea, and China will either decide to help us with North Korea or they won't. And if they do that, and if they do, that will be very good for China. And if they don't, it won't be good for anyone, Trump was quoted as saying, according to an edited transcript published by the newspaper. It's interesting that Trump is bringing up trade as a lever. Until now, I don't think that has really been used very much by U.S. presidents or State Departments. We've been trying to convince the Chinese through other diplomatic means, but I guess maybe because Trump is a successful businessman, he understands the importance of trade, and much more than perhaps diplomats have in the past. Asked what incentive the United States had to offer China, Trump replied, "Trade is the incentive. It is all about trade." Okay, yeah, and China, they boast about how they've lifted hundreds of millions of people out of poverty. And so, yeah, to them, trade, and certainly trade with the United States is an important part of their being able to boast that. So for them, yeah, maybe Trump is right that it is all about trade. So after that question about the grand bargain, Then the next paragraph says, it is not clear whether Trump's comments will move China, which has taken steps to increase economic pressure on Pyongyang, but has long been unwilling to do anything that may destabilize the North and send millions of refugees across their border. Now, this is the point that China often brings up, that they don't want to have millions of refugees coming in from North Korea. The southern border, of course, is blocked and it's been mined and it's heavily militarized. So it would be difficult for North Korean refugees to come across into South Korea in the similar way that East Germans went across into West Germany through the Berlin Wall. But so China is concerned that they say they're concerned of many refugees going into China. Of course, if you have 1.3 billion people, I don't know what a few million, anyway. It is also unclear what the United States might do on its own to deflect North Korea from the expansion of its nuclear capabilities and from the development of missiles with ever longer ranges and the capacity to deliver atomic warheads. So the United States has, especially Tillerson, said that the military option is not being taken off the table. We certainly hope that option will not have to be used, but North Korea, if it continues to develop missile capabilities so they can threaten Japan and South Korea and even threaten Hawaii or the U.S. West Coast, then it may come to a point where that option may become inevitable. Trump's national security aides have completed a review of U.S. options to try to curb North Korea's nuclear missile programs that includes economic and military measures, but leans more towards sanctions and increased pressure on Beijing to rein in its reclusive neighbor, a U.S. official said. Sanctions, of course, have been the mantra of U.S. diplomats for many decades. And I don't know how it is that decades of failure still keeps on leading to more and more attempts. But I think it's pretty clear that sanctions, North Korea just laughs at sanctions. First of all, sanctions against North Korea will not work unless China is on board. China has never really been on board. And even, for example, China a few weeks ago said that they would no longer import any more coal from North Korea for the rest of the year. And on the face of it, that's a pretty big thing for North Korea because a lot of their foreign income, foreign trade relies on their ability to export coal. But on the face of it, that's true. But there are many factions within China. And if the government says, okay, we're not going to import any more coal, well, North Korea could just find another faction that's willing to take their coal. And I've seen reports that is actually what is happening. So sanctions really don't mean a lot to North Korea. So if you take out these sanctions and they say, so the U.S. has come out with this new thing that, okay, we're going to cut off North Korea from the international financial system. But again, unless Beijing is on board, it's not going to work. Beijing's not on board. So I think what Trump is going to say to Xi Jinping and Mar-a-Lago is, listen, you're giving us no choice. You're undermining every effort so that the only thing we have left now is the military measure. And we'll see whether that he can be convincing. I hope that President Trump can give a credible argument, a credible stance to China so that China will really think and believe that the U.S. is about to use military measures, and maybe at that time they'll finally do something. Because China wants, they're not ready yet to fight the United States in a war. They don't want to have a war on the Korean Peninsula that might lead to that kind of a head-on fight with the United States, a head-on war with the United States. And so perhaps if that's the case, then China will, and if Trump can convince Xi Jinping that the U.S. is being backed into a corner where it only has military measures left, maybe Xi Jinping will finally do something with North Korea. So although the article continues, although the option of preemptive military strikes on North Korea is not off the table, the review prioritizes less risky steps and de-emphasizes direct military action, the official added, saying it was not immediately known if the National Security Council recommendations had made their way to Trump. The White House declined comment on the recommendations. And other issues, of course, aside from North Korea, Trump and Xi are also expected to discuss Chinese ambitions in the South China Sea, through which about $5 trillion in shipborne trade passes every year when they meet on Thursday and Friday. Of course, the Chinese claim 90% of the South China Sea as their territory, and they're building artificial islands there and even militarizing those islands. And Secretary of State Tillerson spoke on Sunday with China's top diplomat, State Councilor Yang Jiechi, about Xi's visit and other issues of bilateral and regional importance, a State Department official said on condition of anonymity. China's Foreign Ministry said in a statement on Monday about the call that Yang had described the meeting between Xi and Trump as being of great significance for peace, stability, and prosperity in the Asia-Pacific region and the world at large. Well, that's certainly true. It is a meeting of great significance, and we just hope that it will be true peace and not the kind of peace that China is looking for, the kind of peace where their policy of becoming the masters of East Asia will be realized. Tillerson told Yang that the United States would do its utmost to ensure that the meeting had positive results, the ministry said. Trump's Deputy National Security Advisor, Katie McFarland, said there was a real possibility North Korea could be capable of hitting the United States with a nuclear-armed missile by the end of Trump's four-year term, the Financial Times reported. McFarland's estimate appeared more pessimistic than those of many experts. The typical estimates are that it will take 5 years or so, said Siegfried Hicker, a former director of the Los Alamos National Laboratory in the United States and a leading expert on North Korea's nuclear program. But until now, in the program, the consistent pattern has been that the United States and other Western experts have underestimated North Korea's power and its ability to make progress. And so North Korea keeps doing these tests that surprise the experts. Oh, wait, we didn't know that they were this far along. This has been the consistent pattern. So based on that, I would say that the pessimistic outlook of KT McFarland may be the one that we should be considering most seriously. And John Schilling, a contributor to the 38 North Korea monitoring project, said Pyongyang might have missiles capable of limited strikes on the U.S. mainland by the end of Trump's term, but it will most likely be a bit later than that, he says. I doubt that any missiles they could put into service by the end of 2020 will be reliable, but perhaps it doesn't have to be. 1 or 2 successes out of 6 launches against the U.S. would be a political game changer, to say the least, Schilling said. Yeah, if North Korea, the U.S. is a pretty big target after all. We got a lot of territory, so if they hit anything or even close to the U.S., if it comes within a couple hundred miles of a U.S. Territory, that would be a political game changer, you can imagine. You see how Japan, they had a North Korean missile land within 200 miles of them, and they've had these having school children going through missile drills, and so we'll have to see. Okay, I think the tech team is telling me that I'm about to end coming to the end of this segment, and I have another article I'd like to cover. Perhaps I can do that in another segment.
Okay, thank you, Tim. We'll take a short break now, and we'll see you on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk. And we were discussing, of course, the tensions rising in the East Asia. But what's interesting about all type of conventional warfare is now being transformed. We have to understand, folks, that we are in a world war now. It's not only conventional warfare that is war. Already nation states are at war with one another. They're at war with the information warfare, cyber warfare, media warfare, economic warfare. We've already been under war for many, many years. It's now escalated to the point where now it's becoming hot. And it has the potential to explode like a tinder keg, not only in the region of the United States with a civil war, but also with either in the Middle East and or East Asia with a hot war coming out of either Iran or North Korea. So we are in very tense times. Now, we were having this discussion the other day, and now conventional warfare has evolved into now dangerous type of warfare. Of course, we cover down and break down the archangelic full spectrum warfare. But here, I want to show you this video about what is called nano drone swarm technology. This is a type of technology which is very hard to fight with infantry. And even if you have an AR-15 or you have a rifle, to defeat a swarm of robots that are flying towards you, that are weaponized and loaded with explosives, even small explosives. They can, for example, if a sniper is in a certain region or something, they can send a swarm that moves together as a not only bidirectional but also intercommunicational system, swarm, that communicates with each other and relays information to each other with the robots. And even though you pick off one or two, which are very hard because they're so small, and they could be carrying explosives, all they have to do is fly the swarm in and blow up that sniper, blow up that target. Even if you try to run from them in a forest, the swarm technology allows these robots to be able to go around obstacles and fly around trees, branches, etc., all these kind of things, which then can chase human beings down through a obstacle-ridden area like a forest. So, of course, there are also countermeasures to these drone technologies, which, of course, are being developed by the U.S. military, etc. But against these, again, these university laboratories, this is from the University of Pennsylvania, and they're one of their tech departments here developing this swarm technology, creating it. It's been promoted as being cool and pretty awesome. Of course, we have to understand this will always have military application, always. These technological advances always get stolen and taken to be used as militarized, weaponized technology. You have to understand that. That is always the case. So let's take a look at this. I want to just take a look at this so you can see for yourself. This is swarm technology. They're showing you first the nano drones and how they operate. To throw them. They're showing them one at a time first, okay? To show what they do. And this is at the University of Pennsylvania. So they can flip. You can see how fast they can move.
Multiple vehicles can fly as a formation.
Here's formation flight. See how fast they move? That's now 5 drones in swarm technology. That's now like what, 20? 16? Was that 16 or what is that? More than 16, that's 24. 20 of them, 20 of them.
We developed a method to transition between formations in 3D.
Look at this. So you may think this is cool, but you have to understand this is very dangerous. Okay? This is creating swarm technology. It's like fighting a group of bees.
The team can also navigate in environments with obstacles.
Look at this. You can go through obstacles. Watch the obstacles. Goes right through. Into its proper formation. See that? Look at that. Right back into formation. Now, this is sold to the public as something cool and as something cute. And of course, they do these little demonstrations where they fly in figure eights and all this to basically legitimize it. That's the University of Pennsylvania right there. To legitimize it to the public. But you have to understand, already in Connecticut, the law enforcement agencies are trying to weaponize the drones that they have. And this type of drone technology is very dangerous. It'd be very hard to fight swarms of drones that are flying. And if we get used to drones flying around the sky, which of course they're trying to do with habituation, trying to acclimatize us to having that reality, flying things around. And so thus we're not able to tell what is an enemy, what is not an enemy. It is technology is a blessing and a curse, folks. In the hands of good people, yes, it can be good. It can be fun. It can be for building up humanity and improving our lives. But you have to understand there's always predators. And predators will always use that technology to maximize their power potential so they can transfer resources from people that they want to steal it from to themselves. And force and violence is one of the key aspects, ways in which predators transfer resources to themselves. That, of course, will never go away. So, of course, as these swarm technologies, we're not going to get rid of it now. That's already developed and it's already being militarized and being weaponized. They're already testing it in different parts of the world with the militaries. They just don't report it to you in the public media. Already there was drone strikes in the Middle East already that we've been droning already. So we've already been using this technology in our conventional warfare. The militaries have already been beta testing it in the actual live warfare battlefield. They just don't report it to you. The mainstream media doesn't tell you about it. Or they'll mention it once and then disappears from the news. This type of drone technology, of course, there needs to develop. Obviously, they are developing countermeasures because China is heavily investing in drone technology, as well as Russia. So the U.S. government and DARPA and all those organizations will, of course, be trying to make EMP short circuit mechanisms that can shoot a blast into those drones and then bring them all down at the same time. All those kind of things they're developing. Needless to say, we have to understand the blessing and curse nature of technology, folks. Technology is not always cool because technology in the wrong hands, especially of these insano psychopaths that can use federal power and archangelical power to steal resources from normal tax-paying citizens, tax farm people, they can invest it into insanity like this. And when it's weaponized, these are very dangerous things. Very, very dangerous things. Can you imagine if there was a war that was waged upon the citizenry of a nation by their government and they unleashed drone technology, swarm technology on its people? That's far-fetched. That's unheard of. No, it's not. Governments always have democided and killed their people, especially the more centralized and more autocratic they become. Which is the reason why Donald Trump is trying to reduce and get away from the autocratic vision of the globalists and the archangelic Satanists and steer away from political Satanism because it leads to democide and leads to the oppression of human flourishing, in which God has given us the blessing to be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion over creation, and to be able to rule and reign over creation as stewards and responsible sheepdog and responsible stewards and shepherds, following the true shepherd and our Creator. On other news, Border Patrol officials in Rio Grande Valley sector report that their agents arrested more than 100 previously deported sex offenders that illegally re-entered the U.S. Agents arrested 2 during a 1-hour period in separate locations in a sector on Wednesday. Illegal crossings across the border because of Trump and even his rhetoric is down 40%. Amazing, 40%. He's creating results, folks. 40% decrease in illegal immigration. Now the criminals who are MS-13 and these vicious gangs are now on alert. Because finally we have an amygdala functioning president that is like a sheepdog and is trying to protect his country. Leftist freak after Donald Trump proclaims National Sex Assault Awareness Month. Wow! President Donald Trump proclaimed April as National Sex Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Following in the footsteps of his presidential predecessor, Barack Obama, but of course, actually being real about it, we recommit ourselves this month to establishing a culture of respect and appreciation for the dignity of every human being. The proclamation noted that on average there are 300,000 instances of rape or other sexual assault crimes committed every year, and vowed that his administration would fight to protect people from sexual violence. He also committed to fighting child pornography. The statement also called for young people to hold their peers accountable and adults to teach men and boys to prevent violence. Our family, school, communities must encourage respect for women and children, who are a vast majority of victims, and promote healthy personal relationships, the statement read. But see, you can't do that. You can't protect women and children when you start effeminizing the men and making it bad to be a male and have testosterone and be ready to fight. Like all the feminists and Hillary cult nuts have been trying to do. You can't have a population of strong men who are ready to prevent violence and help other people when you are indoctrinating them to be weak, effeminate, and emasculated. Thank God for Trump now trying to encourage young men to learn how to prevent violence, learn how to self-defense. Of course, in Chaniguk, Peace, Police, Peace, Militia, it's men, boys and girls, learn how to defend themselves because that is a natural right and responsibility of every citizen in the kingdom. And every sovereign has a right and a responsibility to be able to defend himself, herself, and his kingdom. On Wednesday, First Lady Melania Trump also gave a speech calling for the international community to stand up against violence towards women and children and declare the need for promoting women's empowerment at the State Department's International Women of Courage Award ceremony. Yes, women need to be empowered, but girls, you need to be empowered by getting over your fear factors, and you got to actually step into reality and train things that will actually help you defend yourself. Like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like real combat arts, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like Muay Thai, like martial arts, like knife fighting, like gun fighting. There's nothing more empowering than teaching young people to have responsibility by giving them responsibility. How do you give them responsibility? Not by just giving them something to do. You give them responsibility by teaching them how to do dangerous things. When kids learn how to do dangerous things, they learn consequences. They learn, oh my gosh, and of course the highest level is guns. Kids learn that if you screw up once, you can never take a back bullet. If you screw up once, you'll kill yourself. You're irresponsible once, you're not disciplined once, you're not clear once, you'll blow your leg off. And that's why irresponsible people want to avoid guns and regulate guns, because they know that they'll blow their legs off or blow a hole in their chest. But see, responsible people can handle that because we are responsible and disciplined. It's like a ritual, you know, when a samurai sword in Iaido. You learn how to attack Nukitsuke and Kidoroshi. How to slice and draw a slice and then cut. And then how to take the blood off the sword. And then how to resheath the sword. You learn how to do that in a ritual format. Whenever you extract your sword, you swipe the blood off, and then you resheath the sword without looking at it. The Iaido is the art of also resheathing your sword with your feel, live blade. I also trained that art too. I'm trained in Hokushintoryu, Iaido. Live blades, you understand? Live, sharp blades cut your hands off. Why do we practice that? Why do you practice that? You practice that ritual of sheathing, that ritual of striking but resheathing, because it becomes a discipline. It becomes like a protection for you. The gun is the same thing. The gun is also the way of the samurai's way of the gun. The way of the sword, way of the gun, same thing. Whenever you're dealing with the gun, there's a ritual involved. There is a ceremony that's involved. that you must check. Keep that finger disciplined. How you empty your magazine, how you clear the chamber. All these things are ritual. They're part of like a samurai ritual. It always reminds me of like a samurai sword ritual, ceremony. But you have to have that discipline around dangerous weapons and dangerous items. Because they actually end up protecting you, creating the muscle memory to protect you. Just like when you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you learn how to break away from bad habits and develop good habits in muscle memory. Same thing with having dominion over a stronger, more powerful force. And this is why usually girls stray away from guns, because they're scared that, oh, I may make a mistake and blow my leg off. No, you just have to become responsible and disciplined. Once you have the discipline and responsibility, you can handle the gun easy. A car is like, the car has a ritual too. You go in, you go in, you put the car in drive. In the past, you had to lock your doors, you had to roll up your windows or whatever it is, There's a certain ritual involved. You have to turn the key, right? And you get used to that ritual. Of course, now automated cars, they do a lot of stuff for you. The point is, once you have the discipline and you have the motor memory, a car is much more dangerous than a gun. Women have absolutely the potential, absolutely the power to be able to dominate the most powerful force on earth, which is a firearm. But again, girls are dissuaded, they're told it's dangerous, they're told not to do it, they're told not to touch it, no, don't go, no, don't near that, so you can blow your leg off, oh, scare you, boo-hoo, oh, boogeyman. Well, then don't drive a car. A car is way more dangerous. Don't operate a what is it? Kitchen appliances, they're dangerous too. They can cut your hand off. What is that little in the drain, the little rotator thing in the drain? Garbage disposal, right. It is not dangerous. It's all people trying to dissuade you from taking responsibility and having real power to stop actual crime. Now, of course, in our community, we teach our girls and we teach our young people Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Those are great bases, but they're good bases. But the real deterrent for real crime, when it really happens and the Shemitah hits a fan and you have to save somebody's life, and there's multiple opponents, it's not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's not mixed martial arts. It's having a firearm and knowing how to use it and be able to stop that crime and save a life. And that's happened hundreds of times. The media just doesn't cover it because it shows what good people can do. Even just normal people, even though they're not in the best shape, they can still stop deadly crime because they stand up and they're ready to do it. It's all about the mindset, folks. It's about your spirit. It's about what you are surrendering yourself to. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back after this short break. Going after the finishing up on the headline news. We'll be right back. See you on the other side.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Carr Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit carr.com today.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of Chanigo. Now going quickly over the main news of today. Despite his promises to drain the swamp and sweeping out Barack Obama-era bureaucrats from all levels of the federal government, President Donald Trump and his administration have found it difficult to complete the process, even after 2 months in office, according to the New York Times. When President Trump's new Middle East envoy began haggling over the details of an agreement with Israel to curb construction of Jewish settlements in the West Bank, they turned into a politically improbable advisor, Yale Lempert, a 43-year-old diplomat who worked on the issue in Barack Obama's White House, etc., 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 etc. When Trump met with leaders of Japan, Britain, Canada, he included Mr. Tom Shannon Jr., another Korean diplomat who rose to the number 3 post under Mr. Obama's State Department. These diplomats are part of a rare cohort in Trump administration holdovers from the Obama years whose skills, knowledge, and bureaucratic finesse have enabled them to survive and thrive in an administration determined to purge all vestiges of its predecessor. Well, we know that Obama was hiring thousands of new federal employees with the express mission to throw monkey wrenches into everything that Trump done, and that's why every single thing that he has done from the deep state, from basically 2 to 3 levels down, have been blocked. I'm surprised he's got anything done with all these thousands of federal employees. Actually, there's millions, there's about 4 million federal employees, trying to stop him from doing anything. Not saying that all of them are against him. In other news, Gatestone Institute, 423 new mosques, 500 closed churches in London. And they call this article Londonistan as it becomes more and more Muslim. Top news on Breitbart, pro-black activist Rachel Dolezal. Race is a social construct. There it is here. Now you can determine your own race by your own racial identity. You say, Tim, if you say you identify as a black man,
I'm sorry, I'm Asian.
or a black woman, or an Asian woman, then you're Asian. Okay?
No, gender cicadia. Remember?
Yeah, your gender cicadia, yes. Rachel Dolezal, who was born white but spent years posing as a black civil rights leader, is back in the spotlight. Is she white? Oh,
she's white, but she at one time pretended to be black because she was teaching at a black university.
I see.
Then later on, she became white again.
Who was born white but spent years, posing as a black civil rights leader, is back in the spot with a brand new memoir on her life as transracial.
Yes.
Transracial, folks.
Yes.
There it is. I make up my own reality. I'm a little child. I make up my own reality. What I believe is real. Oh, Lord have mercy. Such complete lunatics. Delhi poll, EPA Scott Pruitt gets eaten alive by Fox. I just watched Scott Pruitt, head of Environment Protection Agency, get eaten alive by Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace. Not only was it an ugly and painful sight, but it was also a very dispiriting one. Here's a guy who was selected carefully to be the vanguard of President Trump's war on the green glob, which for decades has been doing untold damage to liberty, the scientific method, and the economy. And he can't even answer a few basic and obvious questions about why the job he's doing is necessary, important, and right. Yeah, that's right. They should shut down the EPA. That's correct. He doesn't even need to have a job. He's supposed to be the person in there to get rid of the EPA. Other top news on Breitbart. Schumer wants Gorsuch gone for mainstream nominee. Senate set for historic Supreme Court vote on Friday.
Yeah, probably Gorsuch to be confirmed on Friday.
Probably confirmed. Yeah. Rand Paul very optimistic about repealing Obamacare after golfing with Trump. That's great. That's excellent. That's fantastic. WikiLeaks Assange asylum winner in Ecuador election.
So depending on who becomes the next president of Ecuador.
They will have an impact on Assange's asylum. Yeah. Instagram users, we've created the most narcissistic social network on the planet. This is an article about millennials being rated now as the most narcissistic generation. Hungarians take to streets to support Soros's university. No. Streets to protest for academic freedom and against government legislation that a university funded by George Soros said is aimed at shutting it down.
So Hungary is really going after the Soros-supported organizations and nonprofit organizations in Hungary, including this university. And are these people for or against to protest for against the government? So they are supporting,
Against
these
the government.
demonstrators are supporting Soros and supporting the
supporting
Soros University, yeah.
Okay. In other countries, they are getting rid of him.
Yeah.
And of course, in the U.S., we should arrest him immediately on site.
So Hungarian government is opposed to Soros, but I guess there are some people in Hungary who are fighting the government over that.
Well, they're communists, no doubt.
Yeah.
Daily News, New York, NYPD alerts feds to criminal court appearances of immigrants facing deportation despite sanctuary vow. So
That's
again,
good.
they're moral posturing. Moscow and Beijing join forces to bypass U.S. dollar in global markets, shift to gold trade. The Russian central bank opened its first overseas office in Beijing on March 14th, marking a step forward in forging a Beijing-Moscow alliance to bypass the U.S. dollar in the global monetary system and to phase in a gold-backed standard of trade. According to the South China Morning Post, the new office was part of agreements made between the two neighbors to seek stronger economic ties since the West brought in sanctions against Russia over the Ukraine crisis and oil price slump hit the Russian economy. According to Dmitry Skobelsky, the deputy governor of the Central Bank of Russia, the opening of a Beijing representative office by the Central Bank of Russia was a very timely move to aid specific cooperation, including bond issuance, anti-money laundering, and anti-terrorism measures between China and Russia.
The biggest money launderers
in the world. But again, going to the gold-backed standard of trade, China now
that
owning
is an
most of the-
interesting aspect, yes.
owning most of the gold now in
Yeah.
the world. America, of course, you need to go back to that. Don't get me started on Donald Trump vows to solve North Korean problem as White House advisor warns Kim Jong-un could hit U.S. with nukes by 2020. Atlanta traffic horror, crews raising fallen highway overpass. I heard a couple people have been arrested for that as a terrorist action.
3 people, yes.
Also, New York Post reports, soon you'll be able to go work in a flying taxi. And there it is. There's a computer image of a flying taxi flying you to work. Again, technology is a blessing and a curse. Island of Death, stunning paradise island where the locals fire arrows at passing helicopters and kill unwanted tourists. They kill unwanted tourists. Stunning footage.
Better stay at home, yeah.
Shows how they kill people attempting to visit their islands. There they
Sovereignty.
are,
Hey, sovereignty.
shooting arrows at passing by helicopters. It's a small island in the Indian Ocean between India and Burma.
Sovereignty.
There it is, sovereignty. Eyewitness News 7 reports fiancé arrested after shooting at woman's attempted abductors outside Texas home.
The police accused the man of shooting indiscriminately. That sounds to me like maybe he tried to fire a warning shot, which lawyers say is not a good idea.
Of course, yes, that's correct. 14-year-old charged in Facebook Live sexual assault of 15-year-old girl. Warrant issued for a second suspect. You see that? They're actually seeing that as some kind of game now, putting sexual assaults on live streaming as some kind of promotion for themselves. Unbelievable. These children are completely irresponsible. And the LA Times says our dishonest president. Yes, okay, poor LA Times. It was no secret during the campaign that Donald Trump was a narcissist and a demagogue who would use fear and dishonesty to appeal to the worst in American voters. The Times called him unprepared and unsuited for the job he was seeking and said his election would be a catastrophe. Of course, they were all wrong. And he's standing up for sovereignty. Of course, they're going on saying, oh, he's the president that is called a liar the most. And we've never heard of somebody being called a liar the most. Even though everything he has been saying, even with the Obama spying on him, etc., is coming out to be true. It's the LA Times, New York Times, Washington Post that was lying about Benghazi. It was them who was lying about Fast and Furious. It was them who were lying about the Omar administration. It was them who were lying about our relations with immigration, open borders. It was them who was lying about TPP. It was them who were lying about NAFTA. It was them who were lying about Hillary Clinton didn't get the questions when she did get them from Donna Brazil in the debates. It was them continuing. These people are known liars. They are known and proven liars, which, of course, is the reason why they only have a 7% approval rating by the American public. Because nobody trusts the stupid mainstream media. They lie to you, and they're just propaganda wings of the different federal branches of government and or monopolies that collude with government, like with Jeff Bozo. Everybody is past their lies. They can't try to morally posture and parade themselves as the moral, upright justice holders and preservers. So pathetic. Other news. Shia vs. 4chan livestream battle again. Branson elected passenger in space next year. Colombia 200 plus dead after river overflow, toppling homes. Venezuela seeks to cool outrage over court power grab. Reverses congressional coup. Burns tackles Vietnam War in visceral 18-hour TV history. And on top news here, LA Times has Trump panic attack. When will this end? They say. When will this end? And witches gather at park to hex president. Folks, we are in intense time. We are in the middle of an actual full spectrum warfare, which has not gone hot yet, but they're trying to push it to go hot. We have to be on our knees and praying, not only for the nation states of this world, but for our president and for the sovereignty of the world. We know that the tribulation period is only going to get worse. But we also know that God has an escape plan. And God has a plan for Satan's kingdom to be destroyed and for God's kingdom to come to this earth. We thank you for joining us on Monday, April 3rd, King's Report. We'll see you from the road. I'll see you from the road. I'll be joining. Tim will be hosting from tomorrow through Thursday, and I'll be joining you from the road, calling in as your guest. And we hope that you have a blessed day, that you stay aware, stay conscious, stay awake, go outside and experience the beauty of nature, step into reality, step out of the digital world and into the reality world, where you can experience your loving Creator, relationship with Him, experience the Word, read your Bible, take your Rhema for today, and stand in the Spirit of God. For we pray every day, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen and adieu. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 a.m. sharp, on the King's Report. God bless, Godspeed, and may His kingdom come.